A lot of us are walking around with the mindset that we've been given by our environments, by those before us. You could be raised by some people who just who are about fear. You know, they were scared. They had anxiety.
True.
They subconsciously, make you scared, give you anxiety about trying new things. You gotta be wary of that. You know, I also say this too, like not to be funny. When you come from where a lot of us come from, we are a few generations back from forced labor for real. So are people not having money and growing up with money? So you might be carrying on the traditions in terms of how you think about money. They might be coming from your great great grandma, your great great grandfather. So guess what they're going to say? Guess what they're going to tell you is the most important thing in the world, right? Guess what they told your grandma? Guess what your grandma told your mama and your daddy? Guess what the most important thing in the world is? Having a job, going to work, and then look, and I always break it down. I'm a time person. I break it down and I keep it very simple, right? We go to work for 8 hours a day. One of the things that's the most puzzling in the world to me, we go to work for 8 hours a day, and then if we do the math, we have 16 hours left. If we do the math and sleep a full 8 hours like was recommended, we have 8 hours left. But it's that 8 hours. If you don't know how to be a good boss of your own 8 hours that you have to yourself, you're always going to spend them. You're always going to have to spend that time working for somebody else, right? If you slept for 8 hours, went to work for 8 hours, you still have 8 hours left. If you don't know how to be a good CEO of 8 hours, what the hell are you going to do with 24 hours to yourself? People never think of it that way. When they see me, and I always tell people, I don't flex. Hey, how much money you make? How much this and that? I have all of my time to myself, and I structured that right. I structure it a certain way so that I'm outside at 1 p.m. so that I'm getting sunlight. I'm at the gym. I'm reading at this time. I'm doing such and such at this time, and because I respect my time, I don't have to go and clock in for somebody else anymore. But it didn't start till I respected my time. It's way too many people. You have all the respect for somebody else's time in the world, but then if I say, "Hey, can you dedicate 30 minutes or an hour to this?" No, but I want to make $250,000,000 a year. How is that going to work? So you can't dedicate 20 minutes a day to learning, to reading, to something that's going to get your mind to evolve past the circumstances and the mindset that was given to you, right? Because that's all it is.
That's a
And when we
fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And when we realize that, I promise y'all, you gonna get so much further, right? Because all it is a it's just watching time compound. Why, right? We watch time compound with bad things, right? You can watch somebody in their 70s. You ever heard of an older person in their 70s who've been smoking for 50 years? You can guarantee how they cough sound. You watch their lungs break down over time, right? Whereas we can watch our brain build up over time. And when we watch our brain build up over time, we watch our bank account build up over time, but we got to put some in our brains. So all we decided to do is just be very consistent. I'm not talking to the excited version of you, right? And I don't do this to be mean. I do this because I care. I'm not talking to the excited version of you who just signed up and, oh yeah, I'm so ready to do this. I'm about to do this. And yeah, in 2 months, I'm about to holler at me in 2 weeks. Let's just see if you can attend 2 meetings, 3 meetings. Let's just see if you could be consistent for that amount of time. Because the amount of distractions the world throws at people, right? Can you duck and dodge and weave those? Can you set up a schedule for yourself? Can you sit down and say, okay, let me learn this skill first, and then this skill first, and then let me master this chart. And let me get paid from this chart. Right? I always tell people, look, like you got to look at the evidence, right? 20, yes, it takes 21 days to make it a habit. Absolutely. You got to look at the evidence. We ain't a bunch of 19-year-olds in here talking about, hey, yo, dude, I fired my boss. I fired my little Amazon boss. I fired my FedEx boss. I fired my whoever boss. Like, I'm a whole 33-year-old grown man with a child with a whole degree who left a career with a government job. You can't just do that just making a little bit of money on the charts. You see what I'm saying? You got to have things structured a certain way. Okay, I got to be getting paid enough to every month be able to afford my health insurance too. You see what I'm saying? I got to have my bank account set up in a way where my account set up to where my baby gets paid, I get paid. You see what I'm saying? I'm putting money in the stock market. I'm investing Forex. So when you join LYMG, this ain't the teeny bopper little, oh, I'm gonna show you the money glitch online. So I want everybody to come in here with respect for your own time. Because I'm gonna always put the spotlight on you. If this was basketball, I'm always going to pass you the ball. You're not going to sit on my team and just watch me dribble. I'm gonna pass you the ball. And if you like playing basketball, you're going to love it because you're going to get a chance to score. Because I'm going to ask, what do you want to do? I'm good. You notice you didn't have to really pay much to get in, right? It ain't no scam or scheme. Let's take the money part out of it. You didn't have to break my pockets off to get access to this. Nothing you paid my rent. So I want people to come in here and really be what? Really be intentional about learning because you're really going to get some gems and allow yourself to be intentional enough to be curious. This is a safe space. You don't have to know it all. But I had somebody say this and it's really sad. Somebody was like, yeah, I joined and I didn't get it 100%. So I decided to leave. And I was like, you didn't attend a meeting. You didn't ask a question or anything, but you're ready to go back to a life that you hate because you don't respect your own time. And the world has beat you down to a pulp to where I'll go and get up and make 15 an hour, 17 an hour, 20 an hour. I'll get up no matter the weather, no matter my child's health, no matter this, no matter that. I'll go and do all of that. But I'm not disciplined enough to study 20 minutes a day on a skill set that could have me making 200 an hour. The same move that have me making 200 an hour will have me making 2,000 an hour. The same move that had me making 2,000 an hour will have me making 20,000 within that same hour. All I have to do is compound the time, right? All I have to do is compound the time. And compound the time means be consistent. We're not going to be the type where, oh man, what you think about Bitcoin? What you think about, what do you think? How much does Bitcoin pay you, right? Like, think about it. Just use this in real life. Hey man, what you think about Litecoin? Da, 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 da. Okay, if you work in the shipping department, what you think about the marketing department? Oh, you don't never go in there, do you? Even though the office is right next to your station, you never go in there. You know why? Because that's not your job. If you wanted to go in the marketing department and because you were cool with the boss and said, hey, I want to get into marketing, he would say, okay, here, take this course, go get this degree, get this certification, and then we could look at you for the marketing department because we know at least your work ethic, right? It's the same thing with trading. But we respect that because guess what? When we're in somebody else's time or somebody else has control in our time, we respect structure. When we don't have control, when we have control of our own time, often we don't have any structure, so it just runs wild. Our mind runs wild. Oh, what's the Bitcoin? Okay, Bitcoin is 60 grand. So in order for you to make just $10,000, right? When you see Bitcoin jump from 60 to 70, you would have had to have the entire 60 grand in there, and then bam, it jump up to 70, and you made 10 grand. If you put an initial investment of 60,000 in just to make 10 grand, you lost. But see, that don't sound sexy. You see what I'm saying? If you put 60 grand in the way we trade, if you put 60 grand in the way we trade, 10 grand would be like your first week. No joke, right? 10 grand would be your first week, and the only thing you would have to risk out of that is maybe 5 grand, right? And that's on a chill day. And the vets can vouch to that. All right. So I want you to come in here and put the focus on you. Think about the goals that you want to hit. Think about all the feelings, the excitement, the emotions, the emotional charge, and all of that stuff, and package all of that and let that be the fuel for you to be consistent and learn 20 minutes a day. today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, too, all of those days going forward. Because if your job was to call you in, you had to work them, 9 times out of 9, you're going to go to work. So go to work for yourself, go to work on yourself, and we're here to help you become the best version of yourself. And I promise you're going to make some money. All right. So be intentional enough to be curious. If you don't know what something is, write it down, right? Write it down and ask it and Google it, research it. Ask the question so you can get used to communicating and get used to researching for yourself. Because there's a 9 times out of 10 chance I'm going to say, hey, yeah, we got that in this section of LYMG, this, that, and the third, or this video explains that, right? And it's a simple rule. The people who ask the most questions make the most money. All right. That's just a simple communication rule. So don't feel like, oh, I don't want to sound dumb. I don't want, this is none of that. All right. The people who ask the most questions make the most money. All right. All right. So let's start off with SPY this week. Okay. Now I'm going to start off with an admission. Team, vets. Look, I had to redo the markup on my chart because my markup it had 43 drawings on there, right? So yesterday, when price came down here and dipped here, it was so marked up, I couldn't even see that it was hitting the 1 hour order block. Otherwise, I would have been like, hey, yeah, let's hurry up and get out. Let's hurry up and get out ASAP. We had great put entries up here. Price came all the way down to 513 and we held. I would have been like, get out ASAP, right? Get out ASAP, get out ASAP. But I always like to say too, for our vets, this is why I say we. It's not just a figure of speech. It's not just something to make it seem like, I'm a team player. That's one of those things where, vets, y'all know how to mark up. I know Harmony's extra good with markup. Kareem's really good at markup. Trail, Denzel's excellent with markups. We have a lot of vets that know how to mark up. That's one of those things where I hope somebody would be like, hey, did you see that 1 hour order block right there? Because look, that 5 minute candle would have had no chance of penetrating that 1 hour order block on the first chance. All right, it would have had no chance. We know that. That's just the law of first contact. So if I would have saw that, right, I would have definitely called it different. But hey, let's take profit here. It would have been probably a quick double up going from like 516 to 513. It would have been a quick double up or something towards the end of the session. And that would have been a quick flip right there, right? But going forward, that's on my radar. So people always ask, new members, this is important. When you start marking up charts, people always ask, well, do you remark your charts every day? No, going forward, I'm going to mark up my charts once a week. I mean, clear up my chart markup. So I'll mark them on Sunday. I'll keep them updated throughout the week. And then that Friday, I'm taking them all off and then remarking up Sunday. Because I had probably 3 weeks worth of the same markups and it got confusing to me. All right. So just something that simple. You know what I'm saying? Invest. We talked about this last time. Whenever you make a mistake, actively going back and doing an actionable item and seeing where did what did I do wrong? Where did I leave off? What did I leave off? That's very, 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 very important, right? We don't just want to have the esoteric saying like, oh man, fall down 7 times, get up 8, we got it. No, yeah. I don't want to fall down 8 times and get up 9. So, or fall down 9 times, get up 10. So let me see where I messed up at. Right. Let me just go back and study, make the time, and correct the mistake. Right. So here's what we did. Let's go to the 5 minute and break this thing down. All right. We had inflation news. We had inflation news on what day was that? Tuesday, right? Had inflation news on Tuesday, and the market opened up right here, right? The day before, we can see where it was. The market opened up right here on Tuesday, and the inflation news read that inflation actually got higher from last year to this year and higher from last month to this month, right? What direction for our vets, what direction would that make SPY go? If inflation goes up, SPY goes which way?
downward.
There it is. There it is. Down. So now, look what happened though. Look what happened. SPY started off going down, but it ran into all of this order block, right? It ran into all of this order block. So it's very simple. And newbies, we have videos that cover all of this good stuff. So you're hopping in like the middle of us talking about something, but this is really great because now you can watch the beginner videos with context, right? You can watch beginner videos and see how they're going to impact you live, always compared to this. Like when I first got to college and started playing football, they didn't slow down practice, live practice. We actually saw the upperclassmen practicing who ran all the plays, and that gave us context on how we need to run them. So it actually put us a step ahead and allowed us. It sounds unorthodox until you try it, right? Because we do it all the time. When you started driving, everybody in the world didn't stop driving and say, hey, we got a new driver on the road, right? You saw how traffic moved and operated, and then you slid in where you fit in, right? You slid in right in where you fit in. So it's the same exact thing here with LYMG, okay? So now write you some notes, get you some questions, and then when you go back to the beginner videos, now you have context and you have live questions that you can ask. All right, so when price came down here, look, this is one lone soldier, one candle forming at a time, right? Imagine it's one soldier, bam, one soldier, bam, one soldier, bam. He's running into all of these soldiers right here who built up a wall. They're stable, they're deep, right? That's the order block right here. We have an inverted head and shoulders too. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So every time price came back to here, it reversed and went up. So now this one soldier doesn't have enough help. So look what happens. When it hits this order block right here, it goes all the way up. Bam. And lands right up here. So now, see this green order block marked off? I'm going to go to the hour. And we can see clearly that's a 1 hour order block. There's no way, even with the inflation news, that a 5-minute candle is getting through that 1 hour order block, right? So Vets, type of one in the chat if you see that now. That should give us that. Here's that candle right here. Bam, for y'all to see. That should give us more and more and more and more clarity than ever. That should give us more and more confidence in the law of first contact. The law of first contact states what? When a candle is coming into first contact with the order block, the thing that it's most likely to do is what? A, penetrate through that order block, or B, retest and go the opposite way from that order block. What we got? B, right. So now that is so strong. Look, that all that did too, look, no moral victories here is really turning real life events into information and confidence, right? Look, even with the news going our way, we had this order block right here, this big order block, even with the news going our way. Price didn't gap below that order block. So when I say gap below, meaning that Tuesday, price did not start lower under here. That would be a whole different story. Price was still in the middle of this order block right here. It opened up right here. Bam. Came all the way down. Even though the news was going our way, it still had to respect the technicals, right? It still had to respect the technicals. So it hits right here, bounces up, bounces up, bounces up, bounces up, bounces up. Now, I would like somebody to unmute and answer this question, right? As it's bouncing up, bouncing up, bouncing up. Type a one in the chat. Just first type a one in the chat if you feel yourself like, dang, oh man, I'm about to lose this trade. Oh, like it's okay. If you feel yourself like, dang, man, this is da da da. Because we were going on a nice streak. Our streak was crazy, right? Our streak was crazy. Okay. All right, now let's expand your mindset. Let's say you bought a house. Let's say you bought a house. You bought a house right here, right? You bought a house down here. Bam. Or excuse me, you sold. You have money. You sold a house right here. Bam. You sold this house for 500,000, right? The minute that you sell the houses in the neighborhood start going up. 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, 900,000, right? You have multiple millions in your account. Would you be mad or would you look for another opportunity to get in the market? All right, see, we got to start thinking bigger, right? Because everybody who I talk to, I had maybe one person that was like, "Yeah, I just want to make 1,000 a month." I had one person who said that, and I was like, "Okay, well, all right. Once you see what's possible, if you want to still make 1,000 a month, that's cool. That's very, very noble of you, right? But we have to really start thinking of you have to start moving like you're already trading a six-figure account, like you're already getting big returns, right? Because some of you are, some of you are, right? Some of you are, and some of the new people by the end of 2024, you'll be trading a six-figure account. So you'll be more impressed by percentage gains instead of profit gains. That's why when people ask, "Hey, how much do you make?" That's such a tricky question because like, okay, if I told you I made 30,000, that's going to sound, oh wow, you made 30,000. But what if I started my account with 300,000? That means I just had a 10% gain, which the vets know isn't a lot. You see what I'm saying? So even asking the right questions and formatting the right questions is just all the journey. It's all a journey, right? Let's get it. Let's get it, Adrian. Let's get it. All right. So now we get here, bam, the market goes up, the market goes up. Now, here's the all-time high with SPY. Here's the all-time high. Bam, 518. So the closer and closer the price gets to this all-time high, I am excited. But why am I excited? The reason I am excited is because SPY is coming off of news that is bad for it. And look how close it gets to the all-time high. How many times in life, in the world, in the history of anything, right? Imagine going to a neighborhood and the neighborhood is like, hey, these houses are 500,000. So this is 500,000. The most the prices have ever been priced, the most the houses have ever been priced for is 600,000 right here. But the prices have risen from 300,000 to 500,000 and they're approaching the all-time high, but they just found asbestos and mold infestation. Like they just found asbestos infestation, mold problems, and foundational problems. Even the new people answer this. What's the likelihood of the house is now raising in value after such bad news? Is it a high likelihood that the price is raising in value? A, or B likelihood, or B, a lower likelihood that the price is raising in value. Which one? A, high likelihood they're raising value, or B, lower likelihood they're raising value. Just think about it from a common sense standpoint. Newbies and vets. Let's see if we get 18 answers. You get bad news for the neighborhood. You got mold and you have asbestos problems. Are the are they likely to reach new all-time highs? Perfect, 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 perfect. Right? The likelihood is low. So as prices getting up here, I don't know what y'all are doing, but I'm putting in puts at a rapid pace. I'm putting in puts at a rapid pace because why would SPY go up if it's coming off of bad news? Right? We have to think like the banks. We have to move with the banks and think like the banks. If I'm the bank and I'm going into a neighborhood or I'm going on the charts and I'm going to sell, right? because I'm going to buy something in bulk. If you go and buy in bulk, they're going to give you a discount, right? They're going to give you a discount because they understand, like, hey, this is not just the average customer. If they want to buy in bulk, you go get a discount. That's why people have warehouse vendor license, so on and so forth. The bank moves the same way on the charts, y'all. The bank moves the same way on the charts. So now what we saw is, look, they're like, hey, yeah, we know that we know that SPY got bad news, right? SPY got bad news. Inflation went up, so SPY should go down. But why would we hop in right here? Why would we hop in right here? That's what the retail person is going to pay, right? We're going to hop in at the best deal and get the puts for the best price. So we're going to push it up to as high to the highest point that we can get to, as close as we can get to that all-time high. Here's the all-time high right here. And then we're going to get our puts here, because which would be cheaper? Looking at puts that are down here. If I want a 511 put and I bought it at 513, that put is going to be very expensive. But if I want a 511 put and I bought it while price is at 517, that put is going to be very, very cheap. You see what I'm saying? That put is going to be very, very cheap. So you got to start thinking like the banks and moving when the banks move. Got to start thinking like the banks, moving when the banks move. So now this gives us everything that we need to know, right? Here's the all-time high. What happens when it gets near that all-time high? What does it form? It goes up, 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 and forms what? Inverted head and shoulder, which basically states up, up, up. Price is going up. Look, it gets higher. And instead of faking and keep going higher, instead of keep going higher, it dips and forms a lower shoulder, right? And then look, price tries to go back up where it came from. It can't break past that anymore. And now it dips and goes down. So now, look, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? So now look at all of this. Look at this order block. Look at order block, order block, order block. We say order block, that means a group of candles that look like they could fit in a box, right? Order block. Bam. So all these candles here, order block, order block, order block. So now we have look, the green candles, the bullish candles marching up one at a time and trying to hit these order blocks. Order block, order block, order block, order block, order block, order block. That's too much pressure for the bulls now. See what I'm saying? So now the bulls are the one who have hit the wall. So when that happens, the market has nowhere to go but down. So that's why I always say the first thing that we want to do is buy time, right? You can day trade and still buy contracts that expire the next day or the following week. I'm a claim and I'm a decree it for every person on this call, every person who's actively on the team with us. We'll be able to see a move and know a move is going to happen, and we'll be so effective and efficient with our entry point, right? That we'll be able to buy, let's say the news comes out on Tuesday and it's Monday. We'll have the chart set up, right? And we'll have the perfect entry point and we'll say, okay, we'll buy a expiration date for this time next week, this time next month, this time next year, like something crazy. But we'll literally say, okay, we think the move is going to happen Tuesday, but instead of us purchasing an expiration date on Tuesday, we'll say, yeah, we'll purchase expiration date for Friday. That way, we're giving our move the most time to actually take place, to matriculate, to come to fruition in real life. That way, you don't feel like, oh, I'm racing against the clock. I need this to happen because I can only afford X, Y, and Z. All right. So I always tell people, once you're actively learning, right? Once you're actively here and you're learning with us, we're not going to be jumping from chart to chart. We're going to lock in on 2, 3 charts, master those charts, master the patterns, and make money. Right? And if that sounds simple enough to you, just type a 1 in the chat. And for our new people, literally, you're coming in mastering 1 chart, right? First thing, hey man, what you think about? I heard about this chart. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you a very practical question. Okay, the first chart you're studying, how much money has that made you? Because I guarantee you, people out here making money from it. So why aren't you? Right? So make money from the first spot before you add a second spot. All right. Very practical. Very practical. All right. So SPY, why do we trade SPY? SPY is the S&P 500, right? It's a it's an all-star team of companies. It's the top 500 companies in the United States, the top 500 publicly traded companies in the United States. SPY. So they have healthcare companies in there. They have tech companies. They have natural gas companies, resource companies, whatever. All business companies, all the companies, technology, all of that stuff, right? So we trade that because it gives us a good picture, an overall picture of how the economy is moving and how the economy is performing overall, right? Also, it's the most popular and most traded ETF in the world, right? ETF. There goes homework for you new people. Go look up what ETF means tonight on Google, right? It's the most popular ETF in the world. What does that mean? That means look, here's how serious we are. We're trading where all the money resides. Everybody's pension, everybody's 401k, everybody in their hedge fund, whatever, all the millionaires, billionaires, all the average workers who have 401ks, 457bs, Roth IRAs, their money is in the S&P 500. So it's actually kind of rigged to keep going up over time. So a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, just get an account and invest in something that gives you an 8% return per year, and within 1,000 years you'll be a millionaire." They're talking about S&P 500 a lot of times, right? So why do we trade that? For security. It's a lot more predictable when you have everybody's pensions tied up and stuff like that, right? In this chart and what's going on, all the hedge fund managers and banks and stuff have a vested interest in how that chart performs, right? Just like imagine if we took everybody here, favorite relative, and put them all on one boat. You'll be hawking that boat, making sure that boat got a safe return, so on and so forth, right? So the American working system, as it's been sold to the consumer, as it's been sold to the employee, and they say, hey, give us 40 hours of your week and you have benefits, right? Here's what they're investing in, right? They're investing a lot of money into the S&P 500, a lot of money in the Vanguard, a lot of money into safe and secure, quote unquote, investments. So we trade that, master that, because that's where the money is. Don't go and live off excitement and move off excitement and go and try to put your money into a crypto because YouTube Johnny said it's going to 1,000x and your dollar can turn into a million in a week. That may happen, it may not happen. I'm not a hater. If it happens, it's like that's great, but is it sustainable? Is that enough to get you off your job? Is that a system? Is that reliable? Is that a reliable and relatable system? Or is somebody preying on your dissatisfaction with your life to get views and engagements and pay themselves? Right? Gotta think of it. Gotta think of it. So when we trade where all the money literally resides, and we learn and master the actual most secure investments, right? That now gives us the energy to do what? We know how the big dog is moving, right? So SPY is like a Mack truck in the middle of a road. The SPY is like the Mack truck, and the rest of the cars behind it are Volvos, Ferraris, Hondas, Elantras, Sonatas, and all of that stuff, right? And so if that big truck keep moving smooth, the other companies behind it, the other cars behind it, will keep moving smooth throughout that traffic too. So if I know how SPY is doing, I know how a lot of other companies are doing. I know how the economy is doing because SPY is showing me a snapshot of the top 500 companies, right? It's showing me a snapshot of the top 500 companies. All right. So we trade where the money is because that's always going to be there. I've watched so many cryptos go belly up, right? Because a couple people were interested in it and tried to market it to the rest of the world like this is the next biggest thing. And then it goes from trading one day to it's like, hey, where did that Twitter page go? You know what I'm saying? What happened to that? I don't see it no more. We don't have to worry about that with SPY, right? We don't have to worry about that with SPY. So it's always a good one to start with, master it, get paid from it. Get paid from it. All right. So now, when we look back, I was like, I wasn't expecting nothing too crazy, but I was expecting something a little more than what it was. I was like, yo, I literally missed the markup, and that markup was right here. They said, just from my chart being too busy, I missed the markup right here. Bam, look at that 1 hour order block right there. 1, 2, right? 1 hour order block. So look, yesterday when price came up here to 516, bam. And then it hit right here at 513. That's where we were supposed to get out, right? That's where we're supposed to get out. That 1 5-minute candle rushing down here to this order block that's been established here and here, here, and reinforced by an inverted head and shoulders. 1, 2, 3 is not beating those allegations, right? It's not beating that. But guess what we have a chance for now? Look at what has happened now. Look, shoulder, head, shoulder, order block, breakout, retest. We get an engulfing here. Or if the news opens up and the news happens to be bad for SPY, we could see a potential gap down. Now, what I'm hoping for, right? What I'm hoping for, best case scenario, here's the best case scenario. SPY either decides to open here, right? Or gap down below that and go here because now it has a clear picture of the inflation news. The inflation news was all bad this week. So, look, President Powell, President Biden, all of them gonna have to get behind that podium and really start talking this thing back up. Because at this rate, what it's basically showing is that the economy is not ready to cut inflation, right? And I'm telling y'all, all this stuff is exactly, y'all know what it is. It's just coded. We all know what it is. It's just coded, right? Imagine somebody owes you $20 and you get news reports, right? You get news reports on how they're doing. Let's just use social media for their news. You get news reports that show they lost their job. They just had to get their kid out of private school. They sold the house, the car payment is late, they going through it. If they owe you 20 and you have just a little bit of a heart and you see it, you're gonna be like, all right, man, look, I know you owe me 20. Get that to me when you can, but you don't have to worry about any interest on it. Just get that 20 to me when you can. Even if you have to pay me in installments of 10 cents, even if you need time right now, I get it. Right? That's how it was during the pandemic. When businesses were closed, interest rates were low because they look at all these companies that have $1 billion loans are looking like, look, we got all this inventory, we ain't got no work, no workers, the place is closed, the economy is closed, everything's closed. So interest rates were low. When the country opened back up, all of the companies to make up for lost time, what would a hustler do? If you've been down 2 years sitting on a bunch of inventory, right? Guess what they did? Hiked up their prices. And guess what the average person had in their hand? A stimulus check. So they felt like it was free money. So when the economy opened back up, all of the business hiked up their prices because they're looking at it like we got to make up for this last year and a half, 2 years and get our profit margin back right. And people felt like, well, I have free money. So, yeah, this isn't really costing me. So people were willing to pay more and more and more. Didn't even realize it, though. Didn't even realize that they were paying more and more and more. They just were paying more. So what happened was now, right, prices are going up. The news is showing that people are spending more money than ever. So what happens is the spending got out of control. So the feds had to keep raising the interest rate to try to curb spending. But the more they rose it, the more people kept spending because they were just in the habit of spending. So now the feds have raised the interest rate so high, they're basically trying to say we're going to make the cost of living so high for you all that hopefully you take the coup and stop spending so much money. And if you don't, we're going to start cutting jobs. Literally, they'll tell you this. So that's like the person who owes you 20 and you see them on Instagram going on trips, talking about money ain't a thing, talking about I got it. I'm just so blessed. Blessings coming in abundance. And the whole while you waiting for your 20, like, yo, can you just send me my money? So you know what? Every time I see you out here, every time the news reports that you got money like that, I'm going to raise the rate. So you're going to owe me $5 on top of that 20 every week I see you balling. The Fed goes, every time I see y'all keep spending money, and when we come out, the data shows that you got more money to spend, or y'all keep buying new houses, y'all keep buying new cars, you keep buying new property. The retail sales for the companies went up, so that means you're shopping more. Oh, all of that. Oh, you hiring more companies, people. The unemployment rate is going down, and the actual new employment rate is going up. So you're hiring more companies, and we still okay. We're going to raise the interest rate even higher because if not, y'all are just going to keep creating a higher debt ceiling, right? So on a regular level, that's the person who owes you 20. They keep on flashing and showing that they got it. And you just tacking on extra interest, extra interest, extra interest, extra interest until it gets to the point where they can no longer pay you, right? And they have to start asking for interest rate cuts. And then you're like, I need to see some evidence that you could no longer pay. Because what you've been showing me is that X, Y, and Z, right? So we're at a point, and this is not me fear mongering or anything. We're seeing some of the biggest companies, UMG, Universal, just cut 40% of their staff. Facebook cut 13% of their staff. All of these big tech companies that have the big tech jobs have cut double-digit percentages of their staff. Why were we not surprised with in LYMG? Because that's the way it was supposed to happen. Now, are we just Nostradamus? If I didn't love y'all and rock with y'all, I would pretend and I cared about my ego and my presentation more than the people. I would pretend it's something I know and you need an attachment to me in order to learn that. Right? But I'm going to keep it 100 and I'm going to say, they told us it was going to happen. Nobody was listening. If spending keeps going up and all of this keeps going up and inflation keeps going up, we're going to have to start cutting jobs because that's the way we can make sure that the country as a whole isn't spending as much. If people don't have jobs and have incomes to work with, they're not going to be spending. So guess whose salaries we're going to cut first? These big overblown tech salaries, right? Where you might have a 25-year-old paying $4,000 a month living in San Francisco somewhere, and that's making the data go crazy because the cost of living. Oh, these buildings keep being filled because we have these young tech hotshots in here filling it up. So they're raising the cost of living for the average person. When landlords and developers and everybody go and see, oh yeah, we got people paying 4,000. We gonna keep building these then. You're pricing the average person out. You're buying real estate and you're pricing the average person out. Right? And we see it happen in real time. So guess what? Bam, let's fire them first. Right? Those are things that's really happening and it's reflecting on the charts. Right? So when inflation goes up, SPY, which is a which is an overall indicator of what? The economy goes down. When inflation goes down, is that good? Even the new people. Matter of fact, Vex, let's give the new people a 10-second head start. When inflation goes down, is that good for us, for the average consumer, or bad? New people, type your answer in the chat. Is that good or bad? What you think? Right. Good. Exactly. 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 It's good because now cost of living is going down. We don't have to spend everything on essentials, housing, food, clothing. So now we have more money to invest. Now we have more money to put into the economy. Now we have more money to spend with the top 500 companies in the United States. So SPY goes up, right? So just from that information right there, you can book yourself a paycheck once a month because inflation news comes out at least once a month, actually twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month. But you could book a date right there every month. If somebody were to give you a $300 check every month, would you turn that down just a free 300? Nah, right? So now let's say the next year, by the end of the year, that check matures to $500, right? You definitely not turning it down, right? So what we just went over tonight, what we just going over tonight, you could book yourself a guaranteed pay date, bam, one time a month, just by knowing inflation. When inflation goes up, SPY goes which way? SPY goes which way? When inflation goes up, SPY goes which way? Type it in the chat. Perfect, perfect. SPY goes down. When inflation goes down, SPY goes up. Inflation goes down, happy consumer, right? Inflation goes up, unhappy consumer. SPY comes down. Right. So when we have the news that inflation went up and then we have SPY this close to an all-time high, it's like, bro, it gotta fall. It gotta fall. It has to, right? And look how it was building. It even knows it. Look, it was building and realized it's getting to an all-time high. Like, all right, now it's getting kind of egregious right now. So let's get this, let's create this order block and let's break down right here, retest. And if the news goes our way, we could watch price. If we get more bad inflation news tomorrow in the morning, we could watch price go down, right? So look, that's the best time. Load up on calls. Excuse me. Load up on puts. Load up on puts up here. So when prices up here, I want to load up on puts. When prices down here, I want to load up on calls. Right? Just the basic. That's the basics for the new people. Right? Puts means sell. Buy means call. Right? Call means buy. When price is low, I want to load up on calls. Right? Ride price when it's up. When price is hot, when price is high, I want to load. I want to load up on puts. Somebody have a question? Oh, that was just okay. All right. So basic. The whole point of getting in the market is just to see where the banks are ordering from, buying, where they're buying and selling. See, the problem is, right, and we're going to get this out. Sometimes you gotta shame people out of bad behavior, right? So here's the popular thing to do. Here's the popular thing to do. We're going to make sure that these new people that you don't do it. As you're starting to learn the technical analysis, right? As you're starting to learn the technical analysis. So you're like, man, well, how can I really get to the meat and potatoes of the technical analysis? First off, let's make sure that you're onboarded properly. If you are onboarded properly and you have access to the new members docs, watch these 2 videos right here, right? Watch these 2 videos right here before before Sunday night, watch the LYMG quick watch LYMG Launchpad 2024, right? Watch that one, the quick start options guide, and then watch the video under that that says any, every, and all things you need to know about options. Watch those two videos and then come to our live meetings or watch the recordings to our live meetings. Fight to be able to come to live meetings. Tell the kids to shut up, go in a different room, slam the door. I'm just being facetious when I say tell the kids to shut up. But literally, fight for your time, because if that every hour that you invest in yourself is like a day worked at a job, 8 hours for somebody else, right? And if I can get you in the mindset to just accept this right here, unless you're a firefighter, unless you're a lawyer, unless you're a surgeon, doctor, or a teacher, right? The work that we do when we go to work is for somebody else. Then you have 16 hours left in that day to do some work for yourself. The quicker you accept that, the quicker you're going to start making money. The work that we do, right? It was to help somebody else achieve their goal. You work for corporate, right? You might have met your bonus and got your bonus met your goal, but they had an overall goal and you were part of that cog helping them achieve that. That's why they paid you. They had to pay you. It's law. You can't just do work for free. But the work that's going to sustain you and your family well after your career is over, that's the work that you do at home. You have 16 hours to do so. If you could blot out just 1 hour on a Tuesday and come rock with us, on a Thursday, on a Sunday, it's going to compound. Ask Trail, ask Demetrius, right? Even ask some of our new people, ask Chris, right? Ask people who are getting paid, like for real, in real time. These people are on these calls right now. Ask Kareem, right? It's going to be very powerful and very potent. But trying to play whack-a-mole, when I say whack-a-mole, like, oh, let me catch it here. Oh, now, oh, let me catch it there. Oh, well, I ain't been on one in a while. So, but I see we got I see, oh man, I just saw Kurt just post such and such buddy from the group, and I remember his name. Let me go tap into a meeting. You're going to get frustrated, right? So it's just easy to be consistent. Why? Because we're following one chart and we're just tracking what that chart does and getting paid from it. Tracking what that chart does, getting paid from it. So when SPY goes low, we buy. Bam. Comes back low, we buy. We look for reasons to buy. We let the market confirm before we buy. And those two videos that I'm showing you that I just pointed out right there, it was the LYMG quick start, the LYMG launchpad quick start. And the second one is in all caps in the new members docs. It states it's called any, all, and everything to know about options. Asia. Any, all, and everything to know about options. That's one of our highest rated videos right there. And it really, I couldn't recreate that if I tried. I could recreate that if I tried. Is that good? Not because I say it is, but because of the results that we have from people who say it is. Right? There's the results that we have from people who watched it. Okay. So yeah, so now tomorrow we're gonna wait to see what happens. The news comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Every day the market opens up at 9:30. All right. So we're in the chat, usually saying good morning around 7, 8. Prepping for the news to drop tomorrow at 8:30, and then it's going to be an hour, right? So between the time that the news comes out tomorrow and the time that the market opens, it's an hour worth of time. You're going to see SPY dancing all through here. Now it's like the market makers are looking to say, hey, where to place it based off the news. So you see how it says post. That means post market SPY is right here. It was just where that number said post. It was just right here. Bam, right? But if the news is bad for SPY tomorrow, if we get more inflation going up, more increase, inflation going up, spending going up, all that stuff going up, we can watch it dance here pre-market. And our hope is option number 2 is to open here. Option number 1 is to open below here and open somewhere in the 509. 507 range, right? If the news is actually saying, hey, inflation is going down, we could watch SPY create a new all-time high, right? And then here's what happens. That washes our current trades out, and that's cool because we've been on such a streak. That's all right. So I hope everybody is managing their risk properly and paying yourself. So you'll notice, new people, vets, everybody. Every time we win a trade, I say pay yourself. Put that money in the bank account. I always say this. It is like making money from the market and then just throwing the same money back in the market is like catching a 20-pound salmon, skinning it, cleaning it, freshening it up, cooking it, it looking delectable, and then throwing it back in the ocean. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Right? It makes no sense. So when you catch that salmon, take that mug and go and put it in your freezer. Feed your family with it, right? When you get paid from the market, pay yourself. Allow yourself to keep taking the same money that you have and put it in the market again, put it in the market again, put it in the market again. And then once your bank account reaches a certain level, that's when you reinvest and make your trading account bigger. So for all of our new people who start, most new people start with 50. Once your bank account reaches 300, then your bank account, not your trading account, once you're able to make 300 from the market, right? Then go ahead and reinvest what? 30% of 300. 30% of 300 equals 90 in this case. So now you saw what you could do with 50. You can do even more with 140 now. You see what I'm saying? And then same thing. You just keep going, keep going, keep going. And you just keep doing that, right? Keep doing that to the point that it gets boring. And then make a bigger challenge. Okay, every time my account gets to 500 now, every time my account gets to 1,000, so on and so forth, I'm going to reinvest, right? But it's super duper important that you do that. It's super duper important that you pay yourself after every single win. For all of our new people, we have what's called our long term investment list for this year, right? I'm going to drop that in the chat, and there you can see when we say pay ourselves. Part of that is going into our bank account. Another part of that is going into assets that are going to pay us monthly dividends. And some of if you have more money, like you be like, hey, I got more money in my bank account right now that I'm looking to actually do something with, you're going to find a lot of value in the long term because it's literally going to cut you a guaranteed 12 checks per year. And we have about 5 assets right now that are cutting us 12 guaranteed checks per year. So when you add that up, that's a total of 60 checks. Bam, 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 bam. And every time you get paid that dividend, you can opt to reinvest automatically. So you never have to touch the money, right? So if that stock pays, when that stock pays you a dividend, you automatically reinvest it and it buys more stock for you. So now you literally have your money going to work and making money for you. And that's going to compound like crazy. 6 months, a year, 2 years. Don't mess around and be 5 years consistent. Don't mess around and be 10 years consistent. Now you have, look, your grandkids' allowance, 20 years consistent. Your grandkids' allowance are coming from a dividend payment that you established way back in 2024. That's the level that we need to start thinking at, y'all. The work that we're doing now is paving the way not only for the rest of our life, but for the best of our children's and grandchildren's lives. Like my daughter's 2, so every time I go and make an investment into one of our companies is O Realty, Realty Income. If you just type in O, you'll see Realty Income pop up. Every time I go and make a long-term investment to O Realty and it pays me that monthly dividend, I'm thinking, by the time my daughter is 16, this would be worth hundreds of dollars coming in a month. That way I never have to come out of pocket when she go, Daddy, I want, or it'd be worth thousands. You see what I'm saying? Then I have I have 6 to 8 companies that are paying monthly dividends. And I'm thinking to myself, let's say I want another child. So look, this one right here, my daughter, she's going to get the dividends from these first 3 or 4 companies. My son got to talk him and speak him into existence. He's going to get the dividends from these 3 or 4 companies. And they're going to be there the whole time throughout their lives. They're not even going to know they exist until they get to a certain age and a certain point and a certain maturity with money. I don't want them just coming out here thinking, oh, I got a guaranteed 8,000 coming every single month. I'm just going to go ahead and nah. So I want them to be able to manage money and then they'll have access to that. So just simple things like that. Start it now, right? You're never too late. You're never too late. Um, just be consistent, right? New people, the more I see you in the chat, the more I'm a I'm gonna talk to you. The more active I see you, the more we gonna talk. The more we already embrace you from day one, but we just hope and pray that everybody be consistent because this is where the money is literally at. This is where the trillions are at. Any and everything else, you're just relying on people to hope. Like you're relying on, man, I got this product, I got this, I got this, that, and I hope people like it. Right. And if you really do that, you need a big marketing budget to scale so that you can increase the amount of people who like what you do. Right. And make the odds work in your favor. But this is where the money resides. Right. So we'll take a little time. Will you hear some terms that you're not used to? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Demetrius is on this call right now. Remember one day he was sick as a mug, right? Sick as a mug. Demetrius just joined us last year. I don't even know if it's been a year yet, right? He joined us last year and he started off fast. I would see him making, 50, 100, $200, so on and so forth, right? But now he's hitting $1,000 days like nothing. So I recall not too long ago, a few months ago, he was literally sick, didn't go to work. He's right here in the chat, y'all. I ain't got to lie. He just said, yes, sir. Pulled in 1.4K, right? While being home from work on a sick day. You know why? Because learning how to trade, how we trade, right? Which is being able to trade while you're on the go, while you're on the move. What do you think you're going to do now that you have time on your hands? And you can actually watch the charts, which is why I started off. It wasn't just a purposeless rant of have respect for your time, for every second, every minute you have to yourself. Have respect for it so that the more and more you get, you're showing that you're a good steward of your time. So the more and more free time you get, you know how to make it valuable. My man was able to stay home from work and make 1.4K in a day. You see what I'm saying? Staying home from work. Most people that stay home from work, that's it. That's done. Their money impact, their wallet, their bank account freezes. They can't go and get a bag without somebody else's permission. That's scary. Right? Now, same thing happened with Trail. Sick, strep throat, came in while he was staying home. He's a teacher, made $1,000. It might have been the same day, right? Made $1,000 an hour and 30 minutes. Now he has 22 and a half hours to go recuperate. You see what I'm saying? If we break that down to an 8-hour job, that's $125 an hour. For Demetrius, 1.4 divided by 8, you're looking at somewhere around like $175 an hour, right? So it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. But the framework, because I care, because it's not a money hustle, because a lot of you came in through referrals, through promotions, through just deals. We didn't even exchange money for you to be here, right? All you had to do for most of you is sign up for a SoFi. And people are like, well, I don't understand that. Why do I got to sign up for the SoFi? Number one, so that you can have a brand new bank account where you just have the only purpose for that bank account is for your trading investment, for your trading profits to go into. So number one, you have that. Number two, SoFi gives you $50 free to start off with. $25 when you open up the account, another $25 when you open up your invest account, right? So you're literally getting paid to learn how to invest, and you didn't have to come out of pocket and pay money, because I don't feel like dealing with the suspicion right? I don't feel like dealing with, well, is this really going to work? Or some of you bought the course and it was just $177 for 3 courses. Once again, they could be thousands, but it's like, I want you to learn. I want to build trust. I want to build the environment, and I want to make sure you know how to take advantage of a good deal. Because see, a person who doesn't respect their time, you got to tax them. What do I mean by that? You got to tax them. You got to make it so expensive that they go, I'm going to sit my butt down because I actually paid X for this. That's a person who's stuck in a consumer mindset. It's going to be hard for that person to get ahead without unlearning. The person who realized, like, oh, I got a great deal. I didn't have to come out of pocket and I get the opportunity to learn, and they could sit down without it costing them a fortune. That's the person who's going to get ahead quicker because they know how to take advantage of a great deal. They know how to add value to their time without having to be taxed for it. Right? So you're going to hear me talk about framework a lot because I want you to succeed. People be like, yeah, I'm going to put in 4 hours a day. No, you're not. What happens on the days where, knock on wood, a child is sick? You don't feel like it. The weather's too nice. You're on vacation. That's too much to pledge. That's an excitement pledge. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if you really code an hour, right? And can you be consistent with that? And then I promise you, as you are, you're going to start getting money. And it's not going to take long. It's not going to take long at all. All right. Most of you here, you'll be getting your first gains with us next week. Right? But learn what a put is, learn what a call is. Don't be like, oh, I came to one meeting, man. I ain't get that. So I just, huh? It's like me sending my daughter to pre-K. Oh, you don't know arithmetic? All right, man, we pulling you out that school. Like, bro, she's 4. She has 7 teeth in her mouth. She don't know. Give her a chance to grow into it, right? Give her a chance to grow into it. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing. So new people just get used to, checking the chat, say good morning, say what's up, and know at 9:30 we live. Look to the clear port for the signals, right? Look to the clear port for the signals. Any place that you need education, it's in the new members docs. Ask questions in the clubhouse, right? We separate them that way. You know where to go. That way you don't have 3 chats that's moving. You only have 1 chat that's moving, and that's our communication chat. That's the clubhouse. But those videos will always be in the same place in the new members docs. And the clear port, only I could type in there, so you'll always know to check there for signals, right? Signals and 1 to 3 minute educational videos that explains why we're making a move. All right. So before we wrap it up for tonight, you have any questions?
What's up, Kirk? It's
Yes.
not a question. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. But Lily, you can go. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what you were saying earlier is true because it was crazy yesterday that I told Jordan this. I don't know if Jordan's on the chat though, but I told him this, and I told you this that yesterday. This is what why it's important to be patient. Don't think on trading on impulse, or don't think on like buying or selling on impulse or doing emotional trading, because you know what I'm saying. Like yesterday, we put our puts in and whatnot. Market for some reason went bad. I lost all the money that I had in investing. I was like, dang, son, I can't believe this. But when the news came out, not only did I make all my money back on that, right? I made all my money back, but also made a profit. That was the craziest part. I went from losing all the money that I had in investment to just like, yo, once the everything started going, like, you know what I'm saying, like going through, I made everything back and with a profit. So I was just like, yo, this is, I mean, I'm saying this because, I'm saying it's not only exciting to me, but it's like, yo, we can actually make money in this. You know what I mean? And then I was talking to Jordan, You know what I'm saying? He was telling me like there's people, I'm sure that, you know what I'm saying, you probably had people that came in, they was just like, they probably do like 1 or 2 trades or whatever. They're like, oh nah, man, I can't do this, man. You know what I'm saying? And they just quit. I was just like, nah, we can't quit. You know what I mean? Because if you see a great opportunity, we can actually make money, then why not go for it? But I just wanted to share that because I'm seeing like, yeah, it's possible. Like even though we had a shitty day today, tomorrow's gonna be better. You know what I mean? But it's just like you said, being consistent with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and when did you join? How long have you been at YG?
It had to be like sometime like in January. It was in January because, like I said, I was hit because I kept hitting up Jordan. I was just like, bro, I gotta change my life. I gotta do something because New Year's coming. I was getting nervous. I was getting scared. I was just like, I gotta do something. He was just like, yo, I got you.
Yo,
You know what I
literally
mean?
coming around 3 months. Like that's from
Yeah,
somebody who, when he started, he knew nothing about trading, and like
yeah,
he was confused. First couple days, he's like, "Yo, bro," and he stayed dedicated. Yo, how do I do
yeah,
this? How do I did it? Set up a call, bro. Show me how to do this, and stay dedicated. Started watching Kirk's videos. Yo, bro, I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting the hang of it. Finally, was able to pay himself. Was able to
yeah,
pay himself before, but
yeah.
consistently now able to pay himself. Like that's
Yo,
yeah.
and that money, yeah, you know what I'm saying, Jordan? And that money helped me out this weekend because I went away to see my girl in PA. So it helped me out for this weekend. You know what I'm saying? I was able to, you know what I'm saying, pay for the food and stuff like that and go out. You know what I mean? We had a good time. So yes, that money I did pay myself in. I paid myself in a good weekend. So
Proud of you,
that
bro.
was it.
Proud of you.
Nice, Brody. Nice. I love to see it, man. So, keep building. One thing I tell myself is like, I look at it like, all right, if these are results I'm getting in, let's just use Chris for example. These results I'm getting in 2 months. What does 2 years look like of consistency? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, stuff that we just watch the time go by anyway. What does 2 years look like? Okay, if I was able to go out of town to PA in 2 months off of this, look, what does 12 months look like? We somewhere flying. Next thing you know, we
Yup,
fly. next
yup,
next thing you know, we on the island.
yup.
The weekend
That's
goes
what I
from
told my lady.
yeah, the weekend goes from a weekend to a week. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? 10 days. So look at it like that. The results are only going to like exponentially get better.
yeah,
So thank you for
yeah.
sharing, Chris, for
No
sure.
problem, man. And like I said, Jordan, I thank you for helping me, bro. Like, because like I said, when I joined you, I was so glad that you hit me back. Because most of these people, when you try to like get on these, like, oh, they talk about how you can trade and make it so much money and such and such. Most of the people don't even respond back to you, or they just left you on red, or not even that. They'll charge you like in a ridiculous amount of money for you to join.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like that. I was just like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? I trust Jordan because anything that Jordan refers me to, I was like, he got my back. And you actually respond. So that I thank you for because not many people do that.
Hey man. Love, respect, buddy. Love.
Sir.
Here, man. I love it. I love it. Salute to you, Jordan.
Yo, it's Chris putting in the work, and it's a great mentor. Like it's not fluff that's being thrown around, and it's not. I'll be honest, I ain't doing the work. It's you, Chris. It's you following the framework.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. Like you said, and like for everybody that's new there, man, like you said, Kirk said it best and Jordan said it best, man. You gotta change that mindset. Get rid of the words can't and can't, you know what I'm saying? Can't and you can't do this and whatever. It's all about the mindset because unfortunately we've been programmed to like be slaves. It's time for us to be owners. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I love it, man. I love it. Let's keep getting to it. Let's keep getting to it. We have somebody else who unmuted. Who else unmuted?
Oh yeah, I was gonna see if you got my text
Okay.
earlier before the meeting had started, but that's all I wanted.
Okay.
Because I had a question about that. Yeah.
Was that regarding SoFi?
It was Robinhood.
Oh, Robinhood. Robinhood.
Yeah.
Okay. With Robinhood, okay, good question. With
Okay.
Robinhood, did you pick your free stock?
Yes.
All right, pick your free stock.
So like I had already had an account before, but I didn't so they had already gave me the free 2 stocks or whatever, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any investments in Robinhood, like any live investments? Like, because sometimes and this is a good one, if anybody ever runs into Robinhood where you're trying to get activated for your options account, and it says something like, "Hey, you're not eligible yet," make sure number one that you have a payment method set up with Robinhood. So what I mean by that, people always say it's the craziest thing when people are like scared of losing money, like the, the level of fear that our brains will go to is just wild. So like it's not just automatically take money on my account, is it? It's like no, they're going to there you just put a payment method, put a debit card on Robinhood so that you can make instant withdrawals, right? So connect the debit card to Robinhood so that you can make instant withdrawals and instant deposits. That's number one, right? And then number two, um, I always tell people make sure you have your free stocks or make sure you have a live investment on Robinhood. So even if you invested like $1 or so in the platform or $2, $5 in the platform, have it set up like that. And then when you go in to your options questionnaire, all this is in the new members docs as well. And go into your options questionnaire, make sure that you put like I want higher risk. I have a higher risk, and I want a higher risk, and I'm willing to risk more for higher return, and that you have at least 1 to 2 years of experience. Not because you're lying to Robinhood or you're trying to finesse, it's because you're taking our signals, right? You're taking our signals, so you're not just going on there playing around tapping buttons. Um, and then play around with those answers, and then it should let you through. If not, SoFi also gives us the option to trade options, no pun intended. You can also trade options on SoFi as well. So as we start going along, new people, you start getting more acclimated. I'll show you how I use both. We have people who use both, right? I trade options on SoFi and Robinhood. It's kind of a cool little strategy we use to maximize gains. So just go in there, make sure you have a live investment. Also make sure that you choose, I want higher risk. I want higher risk and connect your debit card, verify your debit card for instant withdrawals. We say instant withdrawals, that means when you make money from the market, once you get paid that money, you can instantly get it out the market, right? You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait 4 to 5 business days. You can pay yourself that same minute, right? Instant deposit. If you see a good move, really confident in it, we talked it over. You see it as well. You can make an instant deposit from your bank account to your trading account, and then get in right there. Bam. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions, comments? All right. So I just want to point out too. I keep tabs of these type of things. In our last 10 days, right? We've had one losing day. Okay. Now, if you followed along with all 10 of those days, right, then peep this. We want to make sure your bank account actively reflects 10 trading days, one losing day. If your bank account doesn't reflect that, if your 10 days were steered by excitement, here's what it looked like. I started with 50. I had made 47 on the first day. Now I'm up to 97. I didn't pay myself, right? Didn't pay myself, right? I didn't pay myself. And then look, because look, that 97 ended up turning to 350. That 350 ended up turning to 740, so on and so forth. And if you didn't pay yourself and you just you allowed all that money to accumulate, and then you risked it on a couple of trades between yesterday and today, now you see the importance of paying yourself. And you see the importance of getting that salmon out the ocean and getting it into the oven. You see it now. So always pay yourself, right? And keep the amount of money in your account consistent until your bank account reaches a certain amount. Rod asks, do you also teach Forex trading. Can you learn the chart or can learn the charts translated to Forex? Absolutely. Forex is where we started at, bro. So when you get onboarded, you'll actually see that we give Forex signals as well. And yes, they also do translate. There is a loose correlation between Forex and options because both involve the US dollar, right? Forex is a direct connect to the US dollar. We're literally trading the US dollar and how it moves. Options has correlations off of that as well. So throughout the course of the week, you'll hear us like if we make a big Forex move, we would have came here and talked about Forex, right? You'll hear us talk about both on some meetings, right? And also in our new members, in our new members docs, we have our Mastering the Fundamentals Forex course too. So new people, those are great videos, interactive. They're clips of one-on-ones with me talking to people. So it's more conversational. It's not just, you listening. It's like paint drying. It's conversational. They're asking questions. They're at the same level that you're at. It's very intentional. They're like I taught the new beginners like course, right? Just mastering the fundamentals. I'm talking to somebody who doesn't know what a pip is. So he has the same questions you would have, right? And then if you have any extra questions that he didn't ask during that time, go ahead, bam. When we're doing advanced technical analysis, I'm talking to somebody who's advanced. But those videos aren't until the end of the course. So literally, it's intentionally put for you to gain confidence and competence as you're following those videos, right? As you're following those videos. So, Rod, yep, we teach both. Once you're on board, you'll have access to all of that education, bro. Let's see here. Any other questions? All right. All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Let's have a blessed night tomorrow. Let's see what they're talking about with this news. Um, like if we see that SPY opens up and it creates a new all-time high, yo, we have the most the rest of the spring, it's a wrap. The rest of the spring, it's a wrap. The rest of the summer, it's a wrap. Because that means the market just showed us that even with inflation going higher, SPY is still going up. So our call game, we're gonna be buying the piss out of some dips and making a lot of money if that's what happens going forward. Right. So new people be ready. Don't seclude yourself, isolate yourself. Just be ready to tap in with us. Get your Robinhood set up, follow the prompts in the new members docs, and come Monday, Sunday night, be on the mindset call and let's be ready to rock. All right. All right, y'all. Everybody have a blessed night. Good night, and I'll see you all in AM.
Okay.
All right, good night, y'all.
Talk later, y'all.
Peace.